madam.
Good evening.
Madam, I have one doubt.
Yeah.
Another mentor is also there.
o- Okay.
You know that person, madam?
No, I don't know him.
Because he is not uploading the earlier videos. Because only in the driven link only they have two videos. That's why if you know the person, then you can intimate me.
Sorry, I don't know him.
Her name is Deepam Sarkar. He is also handling the one more classes, the same introductory organic chemistry one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Two TAs are allotted for one course.
But he till now he is not updating the any videos.
Okay.
Every week I saw the that link, but till now only the three videos are uploaded.
Maybe you can mail him or
Personal mail
course
ID is not
instructor
there.
like in that.
There is no personal mail ID given.
Okay.
I given a feedback also, but
Yeah.
still he is not responding.
Next time when he will take class, you can tell him that can you please upload.
Actually, in the Sunday session, the time was allotted in the Sunday night 7 to 9.
Okay.
At that time, we are busy because only we have Sunday holiday.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We are working profession now.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's why I couldn't possible to listen the online classes.
Okay.
Okay, madam.
Yeah. Let's start.
Okay, carry on.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Khushbu, and I'm your PMRF TA for the course Introductory Organic Chemistry 1. The course instructor for this course are Professor Nija Dashaputre and Professor Harinath Chakrapani from ISER Pune. So let's start our discussion about substitution and elimination. So substitution is the replacement of one group by another group. On the screen, you are able to see two examples. In the first example, you can see that replacement of chloro group was done by NH2 group. So when we are treating our acid chloride with ammonia, then you will get amide. Then in the second reaction, your chloro group is substituted by thiophenol group. Both these reactions looks similar, but their mechanistic studies are different. When we are talking about the first reaction, so the mechanism goes through this way that electrophilic carbonyl carbon was attacked by ammonia that is nucleophilic in nature. So the first step is nucleophilic addition to the carbonyl group. After the addition of your nucleophile to the electrophilic carbonyl carbon, you will get this tetrahedral intermediate as your first intermediate. Then proton transfer will take place, that O negative will take proton from NH3 positive and this neutral species will form. Then nitrogen will fall its lone pair to form a bond, and chloride, that is a leaving group, will eliminate in this process. And then it will tautomerize to give you this neutral compound, that is amide. So in this process, chlorine is substituted by NH2, but this is different reaction from the downside reaction, because in this case we have substitution taking place at sp2 carbon, and in the second case substitution is taking place at sp3 carbon. Clear? Now how the difference comes in the mechanism. So for substitution at sp3 carbon, two type of mechanisms are possible: SN1 mechanism and SN2 mechanism. SN1 substitution nucleophilic unimolecular. In this case, firstly, after the removal of your leaving group, carbocationic species will generate. So in SN1 mechanism, your carbocation will form, and that is the main intermediate of that reaction. After the formation of carbocation, because it is a charged species and it is not stable enough, so your nucleophile will attack at this carbonyl at the carbocationic carbon, and you will get your substituted product. In this case also, substitution of chlorine was done, or replaced, chlorine was replaced by thiophenol group, but in this case reaction was taking place at sp3 carbon. So the mechanism is uh, altogether different from the sp2 carbon. The second type of mechanism that can be possible in case of nucleophilic substitution at sp3 carbon is your SN2 mechanism. That is nucleophilic substitution, nucleophilic bimolecular. In this case, when the nucleophile attacks at the sp3 carbon, at the same time your leaving group leaves the molecule, and you will get your substituted product. So the SN2 mechanism is a one step process, and your SN1 mechanism proceeds in two steps, where your first step, that is the formation of carbocation, is your rate determining step. And in the case of SN2 mechanism, as only one step is there, so this is only the rate determining step in this process. Okay, now let us discuss about the kinetic evidence for the SN1 and SN2 mechanism. If we are considering substitution of bromide with hydroxide group in alkyl bromide. Now, two type of alkyl bromides are given in the example. First is your alkyl bromide, or we can say your primary alkyl halide. And in the second case, this is your tertiary alkyl halide. In the first case, it was observed that that reaction is second order. That means it depends on the concentration of your nucleophile as well as the concentration of your substrate. And in the second case, in the case of terbutyl bromide, the reaction proceeds through first order, and its rate depends on only on the concentration of your alkyl halide, and it does not depend on the concentration of hydroxide ion or nucleophile. So what happened in this case? Now in the SN2 mechanism, as there is just one step, so that is only the rate determining step. So we can write rate of reaction is equal to rate constant into concentration of your substrate and concentration of your nucleophile. So Ingold measured the rate of reaction for such kind of reactions. What he did, he plot and he find out that your rate is proportional to the concentration of each reactant, and that's why it is second order, because it depends on the concentration of both the reactants that are involved in the reaction. And he called this mechanism as substitution nucleophilic second order, that is SN2, where K2 represents your second order rate constant in this equation. So we can write for SN2 type reaction, your rate is directly proportional to the concentration of your alkyl halide or substrate as well as the concentration of your nucleophile. So this is the rate equation. Now what we can understand from this rate equation, so this equation is useful for two reasons. Firstly, it gives us a test for SN2 mechanism. It will tell us how the SN2 mechanism is, like how it depends on the concentration of both the substrate and your nucleophile. For understanding this rate equation, let us consider this example where your methyl sulfide is attacking on methyl iodide. So SN2 attack, if it is a SN2 attack, then rate of reaction should depends on concentration of nucleophile as well as your substrate. So for the experimental part, we first draw the graph between the rate versus the concentration of methyl iodide by keeping the concentration of your nucleophile as constant. What we observe that it is increasing as we are increasing the concentration of methyl iodide. That means rate is directly proportional to the concentration of methyl iodide or your substrate. The same thing we did with nucleophile also, sodium, this sodium salt also. As we keep the constant concentration of methyl iodide constant and increasing the concentration of your nucleophile, the same effect was observed. It was observed that the rate is linearly increasing with the increase in concentration of your nucleophile. So in this case also, rate is directly proportional to the concentration of your nucleophile. But as in both the cases, rate is increasing. But why the slopes are different? So this Why the slopes are different, this we can understand if we will try to understand the true equation, true rate equation. Now, according to true rate equation, rate is proportional to the concentration of both your substrate as well as your nucleophile. So, if we keep the substrate or nucleophile concentration constant, then rate is equal to Ka into concentration of your substrate, where Ka is equal to the K2 into concentration of your nucleophile. And if we keep concentration of substrate constant, then your rate is comes out to be this, where Kb is this. Now, Ka and Kb are different from each other, and we can find out K2 also, because slope we can get from the graph, concentration at any point of time we know. So by knowing the concentration and the slope, we can find out what is K2. Okay, and in both the cases, from both the graph, K2 comes out to be same. So because the rate constant is different by keeping one parameter constant and changing other, so that's why the slope of these graphs are different. But the rate constant for both the based on both the curves is same. So this shows that our reaction is SN2 because it depends on the concentration of your substrate also and your nucleophile also. So we can change the rate of reaction by changing either of them. Then the second reason why this rate equation is so useful is that it confirms the performance of an SN2 reaction. That it depends on the concentration of both nucleophile as well as your carbon electrophile. From this from this table, it is clear that as we are moving from hydroxide to carboxylate, water, or sulfonate ion, your pKa value is decreasing and the rate of reaction is also decreasing. So, as the strength of your nucleophile is decreasing, or the nucleophilicity of your nucleophile is decreasing, rate of reaction will decrease as well. So, from this equation, we can change. This is not the only factor that by changing the nucleophile we can change the rate of reaction. We can change the concentration of, or we can change the leaving group also on the substrate. So, this is one of the factor that by changing your nucleophile, we can change the rate of reaction. And the second factor is your substrate. If a leaving group that is attached with your electrophilic carbon, we change from, if we are moving from fluoride to iodide, iodide being a better leaving group is rate of reaction in this case is very fast. But if we are talking about fluoride, fluoride is not a good leaving group in this case. So in the case of fluorine, your reaction is very slow, and in the case of iodide, your reaction is very fast. So the rate of SN2 reaction depends on the nucleophile, it depends on the carbon skeleton, it also depends on the leaving group that is present, along with usual factors, that is temperature, solvent, that will affect any kind of such reaction or any kind of such substitution reactions. Okay, is this clear? Any doubt about SN kinetics of SN2 reaction? Am I audible? I hope this is clear. So let's move on. Now let us discuss about the significance of SN1 rate equation. So in case of SN1 reaction, for example, the reaction of this tert-butyl bromide with hydroxide ion, you will get your tertiary alcohol. In this case, as this reaction proceeds via SN1 mechanism, so it is a two-step process. In the first step, your carbocation will generate. So bromide or leaving group will leave the molecule and your carbocation will form. And in the second step, that is the fast step, because carbocation is unstable and formation of any unstable species is not fast, So this is your slow step, or we can say is your rate determining step. And in the second case, or in the second step, your nucleophile attacks at the carbocationic carbon, and you will get your tertiary alkyl. So this is your second step. Now in this case, if we are plotting rate with the concentration of your substrate, then with your concentration of your nucleophile. So from the graph, it is clear that rate is directly proportional to the concentration of alkyl halide, but rate does not depend on the concentration of your nucleophile. So it does not depend whether the nucleophile is strong or it is weak. Reaction will proceed. So in case of SN1 reaction, rate of reaction depends only on the concentration of your substrate or the leaving group that is attached to the electrophilic carbon in the substrate. Okay, so for SN1 reaction, the reaction depends on the carbon skeleton that is present, leaving group, and the factors like temperature, solvent, etc. But it does not depend on the nucleophile that is present in the system. It can be weak nucleophile, it can be strong nucleophile. So on the basis of structure, how we will find out whether the reaction will undergo SN1 type reaction or SN2 type reaction. So in this case, if we have methyl halide, primary halide, secondary, and tertiary. So moving from primary to tertiary, the stability of carbocation will increase. Stability of carbocation will increase. So we can say the rate of SN1 reaction will increase and the rate of SN2 reaction will decrease. Because in SN2 reaction, simultaneously your nucleophile is going to attack the carbon that is electrophilic in nature and your leaving group is going to leave. So in this case, nucleophile should able to approach the carbon at which your leaving group is attached. So if bulky groups are attached with that carbon, nucleophile is not able to approach that carbon. So that's why when we have a tertiary carbocation or when we have a tertiary alkyl halide, the nucleophile can't approach the hindered carbon and it does not show SN2 type reaction. Okay. Now, if you want to study about the transition state, this energy profile diagram of SN1 reaction. So in this case, your two, the first step is your formation of carbocation, and the second step is the product formation. As carbocation is not very much stable species, so the activation energy needed for this step is higher than your second step. So first step is the rate determining step, and second step is your product formation, or that is fast step, and this one is slow step. So in case of SN1 reaction, we have two transition state and one intermediate that is formed during the reaction. Now let us talk about SN1 reaction. In case of SN1 reaction, your carbocationic species will generate, correct? And carbocation, as we discussed in the previous weeks, that carbocation is planar in nature. So when you have a tertiary carbocation, then it can be isolated in the solvent or in this um, in any kind of solvent with the counter anion. But talking about its geometry, it should be planar, because in the planar geometry, your empty p orbital that is perpendicular to the plane in which all the three groups are attached to the carbon having positive charge, there is less repulsion between the bonding pair of electrons, and hence it is more stable. But if it takes sp3 hybridization, in that case there is more repulsion between the bonding electrons and hence it is not stable. So your carbocation acquires planar geometry but not tetrahedral geometry. Okay. Now we have some kind of nucleophiles, or we have some kind of anions that are non-nucleophilic, as shown here. This BF4 negative is tetrahedral and small in size, and other two are your octahedral and are big anions. Now, when your central atom is attached with electronegative atom having negative charge on the central atom, then in this case, your negative charge is not because of lone pair. It is because of the donation of electrons by the electronegative atom. And these electrons, this central atom cannot um, use for donation to some electrophilic species. So these are anions having negative charge but are non-nucleophilic anions because of the presence of these electronegative groups in neighborhood. Okay, so Ola was a scientist who wants to um, isolate these carbocation in the liquid SO2. So when he treat this tertiary alcohol with hydrogen fluoride, so it forms firstly it abstract the proton and get protonated. Then this F negative whatever is released was abstracted by SPF5, leading to the formation of one non nucleophilic anion, and your tertiary carbocation is formed. This tertiary carbocation can be isolated, and in this case the NMR values of your methyl carbon and your this carbon carrying the positive charge are higher, and it is not in the region where it should be. So this shows that these are downfit or downshielded because of the less electron density around that carbon. Okay, so carbocations can be isolated in the presence of a solvent which does not solvate that carbocation, and in the presence of some non-nucleophilic anion that will not react with that carbocation by donation of electrons. So this carbocation that is attached with the three methyl groups is stable enough that it can be isolated. But if we are talking about methyl carbocation, we can't able to isolate this methyl carbocation, because in the case of this tertiary carbocation, your at any point of time your one of the CH bond is parallel to this p orbital, and some sort of CH sigma donation into the empty p orbital of the planar carbocation is possible. So because of this hyperconjugative effect, this tertiary carbocation is stable, and primary carbocation or secondary carbocation is not stable. So that's why this methyl carbocation we are not able to isolate, but tertiary carbocation we are able to isolate. Also, planarity is important feature of any carbocation. If tertiary cation cannot become planar, then it is not formed. For example, in the case of this non-Borna halide, in this case, if your halogen is removing, then it will not participate in any kind of, it will not react by SN1 reaction because cation that is forming is not planar. And it will not participate by SN2 reaction because the backside attack at this bridgehead carbon is not possible. So according to Brett's rule, carbocation will not generate at this center. Then alkyl substituents stabilize a carbocation. So some examples are given here. If you have simple tertiary structures that undergo effective SN1 substitutions, so good leaving groups will leave as it is in the neutral condition only. They don't require any support from any other reagent. But if you have a less good leaving group such as alcohols or ethers, in that case some acid catalysts are required that will increase the leaving group ability of that bad leaving group and make them leave to show SN1 type of mechanism. For example, in the case of this tertiary alcohol, in the presence of this phosphoric acid, it get protonated and then leave the molecule, and then I negative will attack at that center to form this tertiary alkyl iodide. Similarly, in this case, water will chloride will go, tertiary carbocation will form, and water will attack. So this is also a SN1 type of mechanism. Then your thiophenol is not a very good nucleophile because sulfur being bigger in size, electrons can be easily stabilized by this sulfur and is involved in conjugation also. So, and this OH is also not a very good leaving group. So it, there should be a positive charge generated at the center so that this weak nucleophile will attack at the center. So when we are doing this reaction in the presence of perchloric acid, then it will, the OH will abstract this proton, convert it into a good leaving group and leave the molecule, for, leading to the formation of your tertiary carbocation, and then that thiophenol will attack, leading to the formation of this ether, thiol ether. Similar is the example of this one. So when you have a good living group, reaction takes place under neutral condition. When you have a bad living group, acid catalysts are required. I hope this is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, what are the other type of carbocations that are possible and that will participate in reaction, SN1 reaction? So the two other type of carbocations are allylic carbocation and your benzylic carbocation. Now, in case of allylic carbocation, we have two orbitals in the case of allylic carbocation. One is filled orbital having, that is the HOMO in that case, allylic carbocation, and other one is its LUMO that has more coefficient at the end atoms. That is shown in this through this resonating structure also, that positive charge is concentrated at the end carbon but not at the central carbon. So this corresponds to its LUMO and this filled orbital corresponds to its HOMO. So whenever allylic cation react with any nucleophilic species, so nucleophile will attack at the end carbon but not at the central carbon. So some of the examples are given below. You have this allylic alcohol and you are treating it with HBr. So what it will do, OH will abstract proton from HBr, converting it into a good living group. It will leave the molecule as as allylic carbocation is stable enough, and then your nucleophile will attack at the end carbon, leading to the formation of allylic bromide formed. In this case, your alkene is symmetrical or allylic cation is symmetrical, so only one type of product is formed. But in the case of this but 2 in 1 all or but 3 in 2 all, in this case, two type of carbocations are possible. One is allylic primary, another is allylic secondary. So in this case, you will get a more substituted alkene product and a less substituted alkene product. So in case of SN1 reaction, whenever such kind of reduced selectivity problem will occur, so the reduced selectivity is decided on the basis of the steric hindrance. So that means your bromide will attack faster at the less hindered end of the allylic system and leading to the formation of more stable alkene as the major product. So this is your major product and this is your minor product. So regioselectivity is decided on the basis of steric hindrance. Let us take the example of 2-methyl but 3-ene 2-ol. In this case also, firstly the hydroxide will abstract the proton and your Br negative will leave the molecule. So this carbocation will generate. Then the bromide can attack at the less hindered carbon and it will form this prenyl bromide. Similarly, in the case of benzylic cation is stable as the allylic cation, but in this case, the attack of nucleophile always occur at the side chain to preserve the aromaticity of the system. So, in the case of benzyl cation, nucleophile always react at the side chain, but not at the benzylic carbon. So the two possibilities, when you have, when the leaving group will leave, so benzylic carbocation will form. These are the resonating structures that are possible, having positive charge at ortho and para position, but your nucleophile will always attack at the side chain or CH2 and forms this benzylic nucleophilic substituted product. Okay, to preserve the aromaticity in the system, because to break the aromaticity, energy needed is very much high, and in the normal conditions for SN1 reaction, that much energy is not possible for any nucleophile to provide. Now, in the case of the one more example of this trityl chloride, this trityl cation is the species where your carbocationic carbon is attached with three phenyl groups, so that is very much stable. So let us consider the example of a primary alcohol that is reacting with the trityl chloride in the presence of pyridine, and it leads to the formation of this ether. Now, in this case, pyridine we are using as the solvent for reaction, and pyridine is not strong enough that it will remove the proton from the hydroxyl group. So, how this reaction is going on? Firstly, the trityl chloride in the forming the trityl carbocation or trityl cation. So chloride will go in the, so this is a SN1 reaction. Then your alcohol will attack at this electrophilic carbon, and then pyridine will abstract the proton from this oxonium ion, leading to the formation of this trityl ether. So pyridine, which is a convenient polar organic solvent, and is used in many ionic reactions. So pyridine is acting as a base in a fast step, but not in the slow step, by converting the this alcohol into alkoxide. So based on the alkyl chloride, how the rate of solubilisis will affect in the 50% aqueous ethanol. Solubilisis means the how much the carbocation was stabilized by your solvent. In case of aqueous ethanol, water will solvate your carbocation. So if we have a primary alkyl chloride, then the rate is low. In the case of, and it will probably show SN2 reaction only. In case of secondary alkyl chloride, it can do SN1, it can do SN2, but both the rate of reaction is not very much high. In case of tertiary alkyl halide, SN1 reaction is very fast. In case of this allylic alkyl chloride, your rate is more than primary, and SN1 is alright. SN2 is also possible in this case. Then if your carbocation is allylic but secondary, in that case rate is increases. Allylic carbon, the rate of SN1 reaction will increase. If it is allylic and tertiary, then the rate will increase with the factor of 2100. And if you have benzylic and allylic at the same time, then the rate is very much high. Now, there are some other cases where SN1 reaction is possible. One such case is the carbocation having an adjacent lone pair. For example, in this chloromethyl methyl ether or mom chloride, you have a carbon that is attached with the leaving group, and adjacent or on this carbon or adjacent to it, your O methoxy group is present having a lone pair of electron. So these lone pair will help in removing of this leaving group, leading to the formation of this oxonium ion structure, which is delocalized, or we can say this carbocation will generate first. Then your alcohol will attack at the center, and it will form this methoxy methyl ether. So whenever you have a carbocation adjacent that have lone pair adjacent to it, in that case SN1 reaction is fast. One such type of example you saw when we did hydrolysis of an acetal. In this case, when we are treating acetal with aqueous acid, so this methoxy group will abstract the proton, and then oxygen will fall at lone pair to remove the leaving group, and oxonium ion will form. And then water will attack at the center, leading to the formation of this product where your methoxy group was substituted by hydroxy group. So this is also a type of or example of SN1 reaction where your carbocation that is generated having a group adjacent to it that has lone pair. So such type of examples can be are shown here where your X group can be OR, SR, NR2, and your leaving group can be chloride, bromide, OH2 positive or ORH positive. That means a methoxy group or alkoxy group. So, what are the stable carbocations that are possible in case of SN1 reaction? In case of simple alkyl halide, tertiary carbocation is much more stable for SN1 reaction to takes place. Secondary can show, primary will not show. Conjugate in case of conjugated one, allylic can show, benzylic can show. Then heteroatom stabilized, oxygen stabilized, that is oxonium ions, and nitrogen stabilized, that means iminium ion, can show SN1 type of reaction. So these are the based on structural or a carbocationic intermediate, your SN1 reaction is possible in any molecule that contain these type of carbocations or that will generate these type of carbocation during the reaction. Now let us move towards SN2 reaction. In case of SN2 reaction, it is a one-step process, and in case of SN2 reaction, your nucleophile as well as your leaving group will leave at the same time. So alcohol, we are treating with a base sodium hydride. What it will do? Hydride will abstract the proton from the alcohol and it will form an alkoxide ion. Then this alkoxide ion will react with methyl iodide or the electrophilic carbon of methyl iodide and it will form methyl ether. Similarly, in case of phenol, when we are treating it with base and treating it with methyl salt of sulfuric acid, then it will form phenoxide ion and it abstract methyl from dimethyl sulfate and it forms methyl ether and and a stable sulfate anion. Why it is stable? Because oxygen lone pair are involved in conjugation with two more sulfur oxygen pi bond. So these are the two examples of SN2 reaction where your nucleophile is attacking at the electrophilic carbon and your leaving group is leaving the molecule at the same time. Now if we want to study the energy profile diagram of this reaction, SN2 reaction, so in this case there is no intermediate that we are going to isolate. The transition state that is possible is shown here where your carbon is attached with nucleophile as well as halogen that are opposite to each other or at 180 degree to each other. So the transition state, that is the highest energy point in the reaction pathway, in the case of SN2 reaction, it consists of two new bonds, or it consists of one new bond with the nucleophile and one old bond that is broken with the leaving group. So the energy profile diagram will look like this, where you have one transition state and there is no intermediate. Then how we will say, like in the if we are considering about the orbitals, then we can say that the nucleophile must have lone pair of electrons which will interact with the sigma star orbital of your alkyl halide. So a new sigma bond formed between the carbon and the nucleophile and all sigma bond is broken between the carbon and the halogen. So it forms this carbon nucleophile bond. So from these two observations, we can find out the type of structures that will react efficiently in the SN2 reaction, and we can also find out the stereochemistry of reaction because the nucleophile is attacking from the back side. That means inversion of configuration was observed. We will see this in the further slides also. So if we have a adjacent carbon-carbon pi system or carbonyl pi system, then the rate of SN2 reaction will increase. So if you have an allyl bromide, in that case, SN2 reaction is faster than the primary alkyl halide. Why? because in this case the transition state having a negative charge, and that negative charge is stabilized by the conjugation with this allylic with um, sorry, that the negative charge is stabilized because of the presence of this allylic system, and the rate of reaction will increase because the negative charge was stabilized by adjacent pi system, and hence the transition state energy of transition state is decreasing, so the rate of reaction will increase because the activation energy will decrease. And among all the SN2 type of reactions, the fastest reaction was observed when you have a when you have a carbonyl carbon adjacent to the carbon that is having a leaving group. So this alpha bromocarbonyl compounds that has two neighboring carbon atoms, and in this case your SN2 reaction is very much fast. Here adjacent to this carbon having this leaving group attached, you have a pi star orbital of the carbonyl bond, and you have a sigma star orbital of this CBr bond. So both these orbitals will combine and form a pi star plus sigma star orbital, that is a new molecular LUMO, that where the nucleophile will attack. And the LUMO has more coefficient on your carbon that is attached with the leaving group. So there are many examples where the nucleophile attack at this center. For example, in the case of benzyl bromide also, your nucleophile will attack at the benzylic center and leaving group will leave. Similarly, if you have a carbonyl system in this place, then the rate of reaction is very much high. So your amine will react at the carbon and leaving group will leave, and then after the deprotonation it will form a amino ketone. So SN2 reaction is fast in the case where your carbon having the leaving group is adjacent to the carbonyl system. So based on the structure, how we can decide that SN2 reaction is fast or not? In the case of primary alkyl chloride, SN2 reaction is fast. In case of secondary one, rate of reaction is not very much high. It does not undergo SN1 reaction very fast. It does not undergo SN2 reaction very fast. Allylic halides can undergo SN2 reaction. Benzylic one can undergo SN2 reaction. If we have a carbon that is attached to the leaving group adjacent to which lone pair is present, in that case only SN1 reaction is possible. SN2 is not possible. But if you have a carbon that is attached with the leaving group adjacent to which carbonyl is present, in that case SN2 is fast and the rate of reaction is very much fast. Now let us discuss about the differences between the SN1 and SN2 reaction. So based on the steric effect, we can say as the um, hindrance at the carbon that is attached with the leaving group increases, as the hindrance on the carbon that is attached with the leaving group increases, the rate of SN1 reaction will increase because the stability of carbocation will increase, and as this hindrance will decrease, this rate of SN2 reaction will increase because the nucleophile can easily approach at the center where your leaving group is present. So on that basis, methyl will undergo fast SN2 reaction, primary alkyl will undergo fast SN2 reaction, secondary alkyl can undergo slow SN2 reaction. If we are talking about stereochemistry, so in case of SN1 reaction, in first case your carbocation is generating. So after the formation of the carbocation, your nucleophile can approach from the front face or it can approach from the back face. So both the possibilities are equally probable. So in that case, racemic mixture will form. Okay. But in case of SN2 reaction, your nucleophile is attacking at the electrophilic center from the back side. That means inversion of configuration was takes place in that case. Now, so SN2 reaction goes with inversion of configuration and SN1 reaction goes with racemization. Now, what is the effect of solvent? What effect solvent does? So, in the case of um, polar aprotic solvent, your SN2 reactions are fast. So polar aprotic solvent will increase the rate of reaction of SN2 reaction by stabilizing the transition state. And polar protic solvent will stabilizes the carbocation by solvating them. So in that case, rate of SN1 reaction will increase. For example, if we are treating this primary alkyl bromide with sodium iodide in the presence of acetone as the base, so your I negative, that is the nucleophile, the charge is localized on that atom, because if we are using polar protic solvent in this case, then the nucleophile was solvated by the solvent and the nucleophilicity of this ion will decrease. But in this case we are using acetone, so this is a polar aprotic solvent and it will not stabilize this nucleophile, so the charge on the atom is localized and it is more nucleophilic and can undergo SN2 reaction fast. If we are talking about electronic effect, so in the case of SN1 reaction, if the electron donating group is present, then the rate of SN1 reaction will increase. But in the if electron withdrawing group will present, then there will be no SN1 reaction in case of this benzylic system. But in the case of electron in the presence of electron withdrawing group, SN2 reaction is still possible. Sorry. So your electron withdrawing group will promote SN2 reaction and electron donating group will promote SN1 reaction. So this is the final contrast between the SN1 and SN2 reaction on the basis of electrophile. As the hindrance on the carbon having the leaving group will increase, SN1 reaction rate of SN1 reaction will increase and rate of SN2 reaction will decrease. On the basis of electrophile, that is allylic in nature, both SN1 and SN2 are equally probable. In case of benzylic one also, SN1 and SN2 are possible. In the case of carbon having leaving group adjacent to which your um, lone pair is present, then in that case SN1 is only possible. Adjacent to which if carbonyl is present, then in that case SN2 is possible. And in the case of alpha halocarbonyl cation, SN2 is possible but SN1 is not made. Now, the last factor that we have to study about the contrast between the SN1 and SN2 reaction is your leaving group. Leaving group will increase the rate of reaction of both SN1 and SN2 reaction. So, in both the cases, we need a good leaving group. So, as the leaving group ability of any leaving group will increase, so the rate of reaction will increase. One such leaving group is your halogens, and we know that as the size of your halide ion will increase, the stability of that ion will increase, and or the leaving group ability of this anion will increase. So iodide is the better leaving group than bromide, which is a better leaving group than chloride, and fluoride is the uh, worst leaving group in any of such kind of substitution reaction. Then what are other leaving group that are present in any system? Your hydroxyl group can't be a living group in this in any kind of substitution reaction, but we can convert them into a good living group by treating it with, or we can make this hydroxyl group a better living group in the presence of acid. For example, if we are treating this tertiary alcohol with concentrated HCl, then in that case, by the formation of this protonated species OH2 positive, it becomes a good living group and it can show SN1 reaction. These are some examples where your alcohol was treated with acid to convert it into the better living group and then undergoes SN1 or SN2 type of reaction. Other such way to make this hydroxyl group a better living group is by treating it with species that make strong bond with the oxygen. Phosphorus is oxophilic it oxygen phosphorus bond is very strong. So if we are treating it with PBr3 or PPH3, in that case also this OPBr3 positive bond will be stable, and your bromide can substitute this OPBr2 and alkyl bromide can form. So to make your hydroxyl group a better leaving group, one condition we can use acid catalyst. Second condition, we can use phosphorus compounds that can form a stronger bond with your alcohol oxygen. Other thing we can do is we can transform them into sulfonate esters. For example, tosylate or mesylate. So this is your para-toluene sulfonyl chloride, and this is your methane sulfonyl chloride. So if we are treating your alcohol with this para-toluene sulfonyl chloride or methyl chloride in the presence of a base, then we will get this CH2OTS or tosylates or mesylates, which is a better liquid. How we can use this in the synthesis, or how we can use this in reactions? If we have this acetylene compound and we are treating it with butyl lithium, so after lithium, oh sorry, this butyl lithium will abstract this proton, so this lithiated species will form first, and this alcohol we are treating with tosyl chloride in the presence of pyridine, so this tosylate will form. Now this tosyl is a better leaving group, so nucleophile can attack from the backside at this carbon having this tosylate group, and it will leave the system. So this is the leaving group now. So this is how we can make hydroxyl group a better leaving group. Then ethers also we can turn into a good living group. So if you have an alcohol, we are treating it with base, then it will form alkoxide ion, and on reacting with methyl iodide, we will get methyl ether. Similarly, tert butyl ether, how we will make? We will treat our primary alcohol with other alcohol in the presence of acid. So in that case, here protonation will take place. It will form a tertiary carbocation, and then alcohol will attack at that center, leading to the formation of your tert butyl ether. Then very bad nucleophile in the SN1 reaction is your nitrile, and the reaction corresponding to this is Ritter reaction. If we have a tertiary butyl carbocation, after protonation, it will form this tertiary butyl cation. Now, if we are treating it with nitrile, then the species generated or the cation generated is this, where nitrogen is having the positive charge. Now this carbon is electrophilic in nature, so water can attack this and it leads to the formation of this amide. So Ritter reaction is the reaction, or is the reaction where your tertiary alcohol is converted into amide. Then in the case of SN2 reaction, the other nucleophile that are possibles are amines that are very good nucleophile. For example, ammonia, and other one is azide. When ammonia react with your alkyl halide, it will form RNH2, that is the primary amine. But because these primary amines are further reactive than the ammonia, so this reaction will stop at the quaternary ammonium stage only. If we want selectively to get this quaternary salt, then this reaction is good. But if we want to stop the reaction at the primary amine stage or secondary amine stage, we can't use this reaction, because once the primary amine will generate, because of the presence of the electron donating alkyl group, electron density on the nitrogen will increase and its reactivity further increase to react with other alkyl halide. So to stop the reaction at the any of the middle stage is really cumbersome for us. Then the other type of nucleophile that is possible for SN2 reaction is azide ion, where both the and the nitrogens are nucleophilic in nature. So when this nitrogen will attack the alkyl halide, it leads to the this alkyl azide will form. And to convert your alkyl azide into amine, we can use reducing agents such as lithium aluminum hydride or your hydrogen palladium. And this azide can be used for opening of epoxide also. This is a symmetrical epoxide, so at any of the center epoxide will open, and you will get a alkoxide and azide. Then protonation will take place, and to reduce this azide to amine, we can use PPH3 or we can use reducing agent also. Then other nucleophile that are possible, that are better than oxygen nucleophiles, are your sulfur nucleophiles. If you have a thiol and you are treating it with base and primary alkyl halide, so in that case your sulfide will form. This thiophenol has a pKa of 6.4, and um, phenolic has a pK of around 10. So this thiophenol is a stronger base than the phenol. It can easily give its proton and leads to the formation of this thiophenoxide ion. Then it can act as a nucleophile by attacking on the primary carbon having a leaving group attached to it, and it can undergo SN2 reaction. Thioacetate also can participate in the SN2 reaction in the similar manner. So for SN2 reaction, as the nucleophilicity of the leaving group will, sorry, nucleophile will increase, the rate of reaction will increase. If we have oxygen nucleophile, and this is the table that we are comparing, and if we have this thiophenol and phenoxide, in that case rate of reaction is higher for your thiophenoxide ion, or nucleophilicity of your thiophenol is better than the phenoxide. Then after substitution, the next topic that we have to study is elimination reaction. Elimination is removal of uh, two atoms at the same time. So this is the reaction where your tert-butyl bromide in the first step will form tertiary carbocation and then undergoes substitution reaction. So this is SN1 reaction where your rate depends only on the concentration of substrate. If we are treating this reaction, or if we are doing this reaction in the presence of concentrated solution of NaOH, in the first case where substitution is taking place, if you are increasing the concentration of your nucleophile, then the rate of reaction will not increase, but the chances of elimination will increase, because the base now can abstract the proton, and then it will form the elimination product. So the reaction stop being a substitution if we increase the concentration of your nucleophile, and it behaves like a elimination reaction, or it participates in the elimination reaction. Then elimination happens when nucleophile attacks hydrogen instead of carbon, and in this case your rate depends both on the concentration of the nucleophile as well as the concentration of the substrate. So in this case the elimination is this is the elimination reaction and biomolecular elimination reaction, or we will call it as E2 elimination. Other example is your even elimination, where in the first step your leaving group will leave, and then in the fast step elimination or proton will leave. So this is your even elimination that depends on the concentration of only the substrate but not the uh, this nucleophile. Now, how does the nucleophile affect elimination versus substitution? One first factor is your basicity. Stronger base attack protons, and more basic the nucleophile, more likely that elimination will take place as the main reaction. So, if we have a weak base, for example, ethanol, this will undergo a substitution reaction. And if we have a strong base, for example, ethoxide ion, sodium ethoxide or potassium ethoxide, then in that case, elimination will take place. If we have a stronger nucleophile, then it will undergo elimination. If we have a weaker nucleophile, then it will undergo substitution. Then the other factor is size. As the size of your nucleophile will increase, then it will further attack as the base. By abstracting the proton, it will form the product rather than by directly attacking at the carbon having the leaving. So if the size of nucleophile will increase, in that case also elimination chances of elimination will increase, then substitution. Then temperature. Now we know that this Gibbs free energy equation delta G is equal to delta H minus T delta S. In elimination, two molecules will become three molecules. But in substitution case, two molecules will remain two. So in the case of elimination, the entropy increase will take place. And if entropy of the system is increasing, that means for delta G to be negative, your temperature of the reaction should be high. So elimination occur at higher temperature and substitution occur at room temperature. So if your nucleophile are stronger bases, then it favors elimination. If they are bulky, then also it will favor elimination, and higher temperature also favor elimination over substitution. So these are the three factors that will decide whether elimination will take place or substitution will take place. Now, let us discuss more about the mechanisms E1 and E2. We saw that in the case of E1 mechanism, your rate determining step is unimolecular and does not involve the base. So the leaving group leaves in the first step, and proton is removed in the second step, leading to the formation of alkene. So rate depends only on the concentration of your substrate. And in the case of E2 mechanism or E2 reaction, elimination, your reaction is bimolecular. That means it depends both on the concentration of the substrate as well as the base. So loss of leaving group is simultaneous with the removal of proton by the base. So your base will abstract the proton, then electrons will fall in such a way that the leaving group will remove in this same step. So the rate will depend on the concentration of your halide also as well as your base also. Then one such example we can use in last class we studied about the bromination reaction, right? When alkene will react with bromine, so it will form a anti dibromo compound. Okay, because first case bromonium ion will form, and then from the back side bromide ion will attack to form this or to open up this bromonium ion. Now, if we are treating this with tertiary butoxide, so what is the possibility? So this tertiary butoxide, because it is bulky, it will attack from the less substituted side and it will form this diene. So in case of E2 elimination, um, firstly the nucleophile attack at the lesser hindered side, and secondly it will react in the anti fashion. So if you have this bromoacetaldehyde and we are treating it with ethanol in the presence of H positive, so firstly acetal will form. How this reaction is taking place? Aldehyde will abstract the proton, ethanol will attack, COH will form. Again it will abstract the proton, again ethanol will form, and OH2 positive or water will release. So it will form this acetal. This is clear how we are getting the first product. Shall I explain again?
Madam, your network may be problem, madam.
You are not getting my voice?
Voice is audible, but the slides and voice are mismatched.
Okay. I will try to speak slowly so that it will match. So, if we are treating bromoacetaldehyde with ethanol in the presence of acid, what it will do? It will abstract the proton from the proton source, and then your ethanol will attack at the carbonyl center. Then again protonation will take place, and another molecule of ethanol will substitute the water. So this is how this acetal will form. Then in the second step, your base will abstract the proton and leaving group will leave. So this E2 elimination will takes place. Another such base that we are using in E2 elimination is DBU, that is 1 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So this is 1 8 diaza bicyclo. Here 5 carbons in the bigger ring and 4 carbons in the smaller ring, and there is no carbon in the bridge carbons. So your 540 undecane 7. Your alkene is present at the 7th position. So this DPU is a um, non-nucleophilic base that will abstract the proton only. It will not act as nucleophile. And because it is hindered, so it will always prefer to attack at the less hindered site. In the first case where you have this iodide, so DBU, what it will do, it will abstract this proton and leads to the formation of this alkene. In the second case, your DBU will abstract proton from this site or this site, but because DBU is bulky base, so it will abstract proton from the less hindered side and this alkene will form. Then, what are the substrates that allow even mechanism to take place? If you have a tertiary alkyl halide, then the carbocation is stable, so it will undergo even elimination. If you have allylic system, in that case also carbocation is stable, that will also undergo even elimination. If we have benzylic one, or if we have a substituent that is attached with the or adjacent attached with the heteroatom, that can stabilize the carbocation by donation of lone pair of electrons, in that case also E2 elimination is possible. But if you have a secondary alkyl halide where your carbocation is not very much stable, in that case it can undergo even elimination, but the rate will not very much high. Primary one will not undergo even elimination uh, in any case. Similarly, your methyl halides or your benzylic halides and your this carbon that is attached with the tertiary center where no H is possible at the adjacent carbon of the carbon that is attached with the leaving group, in that case as a E2 elimination or even elimination is not possible. Now the first example, polar solvents. If we are talking about solvents, so polar solvents will favor even reaction because the carbocation that is generated after the removal of the leaving group, it will solvate that carbocation and thus help in the stabilization of that carbocation and increases the rate of even mechanism. If we have this cyclohexenone and we are treating it with the phenyl grignard, so your phenyl will attack at this carbonyl center and it will form this tertiary alcohol. Now, this on reaction with acid, it will form a tertiary carbocation that is formed here. Then, after the elimination of H positive, it will form your alkene. And because the reaction proceeds through the formation of carbocation, so this is even mechanism. Then we can convert this tertiary alcohol in the presence of paratolvin sulfonic acid, so it will get protonated and then leave the molecule, so tertiary carbocation will form which undergoes elimination to form this alkene. This is used in the preparation of cedrol, that is a important compound in perfumery industry. So next is the example of your norbornane alcohol. When we are treating it with aqueous acid, then it will form this H2O positive. But the carbocation is not possible at the bridgehead position. This is the bridgehead position. Why? Because it cannot be planar. And we already discussed in the previous slides that if carbocation can't be planar, it will not form. So Brett's rule says that your carbocation at bridgehead position, because of the strain in the system, is not formed. Then, what is the role of leaving group in the elimination? As the leaving group ability of the group will increase, the rate of reaction of both E1 and E2 will increase in general. For example, if we have this amine and we are treating it with methyl iodide, so it will form this ammonium ion. Now, the leaving group ability of this ammonium ion is more than the amine. So, if we are treating it with base, then the base will abstract this proton and this leaving group will leave. And in the second case also, here this is the even mechanism because we are not using very strong bases. Then if we are using strong bases, then it will undergo E2 elimination. So OH negative is never a leaving group in E2 reaction. Hydroxide ion will not act as the leaving group, it will act as the base. And for converting hydroxide ion into the good leaving group, we already discussed about the ways that in the presence of acid we can perform the reaction. In if we are treating it with compounds that can form a stronger bond with oxygen like PBr3 or PPH3, we can use that, or we can convert hydroxyl group into tosylate or mesylate for converting it into a better living group. So if you have your alcohol and you are treating it with tosyl chloride or mesyl chloride, then this tosylate or mesylate will form. And then if we are treating it with base, so these leaving groups will leave to form the alkene. Similarly, here we are treating this alcohol with mesyl chloride. So this mesylate will form first, then DBU will abstract the proton from the adjacent carbon and it leads to the formation of alkene. Similar example with mesylate also is possible. Then even reactions can be stereoselective. Even reaction means formation of carbocation is taking place. After the formation of carbocation, now in this case only one alkene is possible. In this case also this is symmetric, so one alkene is possible. But when we have two type of alkenes that is possible, that is regioisomeric alkenes can be possible. So both the products we will get. Two stereoisomeric alkene also we can get if we have this trans and cis type of examples, that is geometrical isomers. So even reaction can be stereoselective, that one of the isomer is formed in the more concentration than the other isomer. Stereoselective means one is major, one is minor. Stereospecific means only one of the product is formed, other isomer is not formed at all. So if we are using this example, so in this case your E alkene will form as the major product, then your Z alkene. Why is that so? Because in the case of E alkene, the energy of transition state is lower, and in the case of Z alkene, the energy of transition state is more. So that's why E alkene is favored in this reaction, in this even reaction, and this Z alkene will form in the minor amount. Okay, so your uh, even reaction will form E alkene as the major product, because the transition state corresponding to the formation of that product is energy of the transition state is less. Then even reactions can be regioselective also, because it leads to the formation of more substituted alkene as the major product. Why is that so? If we have this this alkene, here the pi star orbital was not stabilized by the sigma star donation of electrons to the pi star orbital of by because of the presence of the adjacent CH bond or CC bond. So this sigma electron donation to the pi star orbital will increase the stability of your alkene, and hence the more substituted alkene will be formed as the major product. Then regioselectivity we can see on the basis of transition state also, that more substituted alkene has lower energy transition state, and less substituted alkene has higher energy transition state. So even reaction will favor always trans alkene to form and more substituted alkene to form as the major product. In case of E2 elimination, anti-periplanar transition state is important for reaction to takes place, because in case of anti-periplanar system, your CH sigma bond and CH sigma star are parallel to each other, where bond breaking and bond making are going to take place. So if we have this here, then the elimination will take place in the anti-periplanar fashion. So two possibilities are there. In one case, when your Br and H are anti-periplanar to each other, then the methyl groups are close to each other, or they can away, anti to each other. In this case, because of the repulsion, steric repulsions, it will give minor product, and here, because of the stability and the two methyl groups are anti-periplanar to each other, this is less hindered system, so it will give the major product. Then E2 eliminations can be stereospecific also. For example, if we have this alkyl bromide and we are treating it with base, so when H and Br are anti-periplanar to each other, then we will get only this product as the only product. Similarly, in this case, we will get this product as the only product. So E2 elimination is stereospecific based on the arrangement where your anti-periplanar system is formed and steric repulsions is minimum. So stereo selective means one of the product is major, and stereo specific means only one isomer is formed and other isomer will not form. In case of cyclohexane also, if we have this equatorial X and that is anti-periplanar to this two carbon-carbon bonds, but elimination can't takes place from the carbon-carbon bond. It will takes place from the carbon-hydrogen and carbon-halogen bond. So ring inversion will takes place, and whenever your both CH and CX bond are axial to each other and anti-periplanar to each other, that will result in the formation of your elimination product. Then in this case also, two isomers are formed. One in is to 3 ratio, that is more substituted one is the major product. In this here, this E2 elimination will takes place, so this will give the major product. In this case also, diaxial uh, in this case, this is favored because your chloride and hydrogen are axial to each other and your bulky group is at the equatorial position, but in this case your bulky group is at the axial position, which will not give the major product. So this will give the major product and this will give the minor product. Then E2 elimination from vinyl halide also takes place and it leads to the formation of alkynes. So if we have this vinyl halide and we are treating it with this base, so base will abstract the proton, leading to the formation of alkyne and the leaving group will leave. So here your CH and CBr are anti-periplanar to each other, so fast reaction will takes place and your alkyne will generate. Then the regioselectivity arises in such a way that where the CH and H are anti-periplanar to each other, that will give the result. If it is not possible, then we will not get the result. So even reaction give the more substituted alkene as the product. E2 reaction give the more substituted alkene but become more regioselective for the less substituted alkane with the more hindered base, because more hindered base like DBU will not attack at the uh, hindered side to abstract the proton. Indeed, it will go and attack at the less hindered side and form the less substituted alkene as the major product. Then, if we have a anion stabilizing group, that will generates another mechanism, that is even CB mechanism. Now, if we have this example where your active methylene compound was there, or this carbonyl carbon base will abstract the proton and this enolate ion will generate. Then when the electrons will fall back, this hydroxide will leave. Hydroxide ion is not a good leaving group in the case of E2 reaction or even reaction, but it is a good leaving group in the case of even CB mechanism. Now, in this reaction, this is the similar kind of even reaction, but because the reaction takes place through the conjugate base, so we will call this as even CB mechanism. where deprotonation occurs from, or elimination occurs from the conjugate base of the starting molecule. So this is the mechanism of the even CB reaction, where your base will abstract the proton, enolate will form, it will revert back to leave the leaving group, and your alpha beta unsaturated compound you will get as the product. Here also, firstly methylation will take place, then triethylamine will take this proton and it will form this diene. Similarly, in this case, methylation will take place, then it will take the proton from here, pyridine, and then O-methylate will. One more example of even two more examples of even CB reactions are shown here. Firstly, you are treating this with HCl in the presence of water. So ester in the presence of HCl will form acid, and acid and alcohol will do lactonization to form this lactone. So firstly, ester is converted into acid, and then acid combines with alcohol to form ester, or this is cyclic ester, we will call it as lactone. Then base will abstract the proton, enolate will form, it will come back and leaving group will leave. It leads to the formation of the this alpha beta unsaturated lactone in by following a even CB mechanism. Similarly, in this case, we are treating it with base. So base can abstract proton. The most acidic proton is this one, because it leads to the formation of the aromatic system. So this will come and, or this anion will, electrons will fall down and this group will leave, which on further elimination of CO2 will give this amino acid. So, three type of mechanism are possible in elimination. One is even elimination, where leaving group will leave first, then deprotonation will follow. E2 elimination, deprotonation and loss of leaving group simultaneously will take place, and even CB mechanism or elimination, where deprotonation takes place first and then leaving group will leave. So with even CB, regioselectivity is straightforward, that wherever the um, position of acidic proton and leaving group are suitable, at that place only your elimination will take place. Here also it will take the proton from here, enolate will form, it will come back, electrons will form and alkene will form. Similarly on the other side. These are the other examples, that alcohol will attack on the tosyl chloride, tosylate will form, pyridine will take the proton, and this is the formation of tosylate. Then this methane sulfonates will form when your alcohol is reacting with methyl chloride and triethylamine. So on the base, so finally, on the basis of the structure that is present, if it is methyl halide, then with poor nucleophile, it will not undergo any kind of reaction. With weakly basic nucleophile, it can undergo SN2 reaction. With strongly basic unhindered nucleophile, it can undergo SN2 reaction, and with strongly basic unhindered nucleophile also, it can undergo SN2 type of reaction. Your primary halides show SN2 reaction with weak nucleophile, E2 elimination with strong basic nucleophile, or whether it is hindered or unhindered. Secondary alcohol can show SN1 or even mechanism, or with stronger with weak base it will show SN2 reaction, and with strong base it will show E2 elimination. Tertiary alkyl halide can undergo even elimination or SN1 reaction, or E2 elimination in the presence of strong base. With strong base, any kind of like E2 elimination is most favored with the primary, secondary, tertiary halides. Then if we have a beta anion stabilizing group, then it will undergo even CB mechanism in the presence of weak base, strong base, or no poor nucleophile also. Now let us start our assignment. So I will show you the question, give me answers. First question is, What is the nucleophile in this reaction?
OH minus.
OH minus or water? This is a SN2 reaction where your attack of nucleophile and removal of leaving group will take place simultaneously. Okay, because here on the arrow we are given with water, so that means this will act as nucleophile and this will act as your leaving group or substrate. Okay, whatever given on the reaction condition, from on the basis of that only, if some base is given with this, we can say that that is act as the nucleophile. But because water is directly given, so that means it is a weak base, sorry, weak nucleophile, but water will act as the nucleophile in this reaction, not OH negative, because no source is there to abstract the proton from the water. Is this clear? Any doubt?
No, madam.
Okay. Then the reaction in question 1 goes through. We have a alkyl bromide, this, and we are reacting it with water. So water, what will do? It will attack from the back side and leave this molecule or bromide ion as the leaving group. So we will form OH positive charge. Then bromide ion will neutralize this by abstracting the proton, and it leads to the formation of this alcohol. Okay, so this is a SN2 reaction where nucleophile attacks simultaneously and leaving group leaves in the same step. So backside attack of the nucleophile is taking place. Clear?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Now, assuming no other changes, what is the effect of doubling the alkyl halide and nucleophilic concentration in the above reaction? It is a SN2 reaction. That means rate of reaction is directly proportional to the concentration of alkyl halide as well as the concentration of nucleophile. So on doubling the rate of reaction, rate of overall reaction will show no change, doubles the rate is half, or quadruple the rate. That means 4 times. But which option is correct?
Option D,
No change.
double. No, no, no. The concentration increases, the rate of reaction increases. Therefore, it is a double the rate.
Yeah, they are doubling the concentration of alkyl halide as well as nucleophile. That means if initially the concentration is x, it becomes 2x now. So the rate will increase by
4 times.
4 times. That means quadruple the rate. Got it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Next is, which of the following describes the carbon oxygen bond in an alcohol? We have, let us consider the example of ethanol. Now, in this case, the carbon oxygen bond, which atom contains the positive charge, which atom contains the negative charge, or it is non-polar?
Oxygen having the negative charge,
Oxygen having the delta negative charge, and carbon having the,
carbon delta positive.
so that means it is polar, having delta positive at carbon and delta negative at oxygen. Correct.
And what about the C bond C, that is a non-polar?
This carbon carbon bond,
I'm asking
because of
that.
the
C.
minus I effect of this oxygen, some kind of uh, positive charge will generate at this center also. It is less as compared to the carbon carbon bond, but it is polar.
No, no, I'm asking it is a non-polar, maybe CC bond.
No, 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 it is polar.
It's also polar.
Yeah, because of the minus I effect of the carbon that is attached to this CH3, this bond also become polar.
Fine.
Yeah. Then the next question is, what is the major product of the following reaction? What is the first step? Now, iodide is a good leaving group, correct?
Living exactly.
So it will leave. So what
And
we
the
will get? A primary carbocation. Sorry, a secondary carbocation. Now, what are the two possibility? Water can attack or rearrangement can takes place. So this methyl will shift here. So it
1 2 mid.
1,2 methyl shift will takes place and a tertiary carbocation will form. So from this secondary, tertiary carbocation will form. Now water will attack at this tertiary center and this will gives us the major product. Correct? So they are asking about the major product. Other product is also possible, that this is also possible product, but the major product is this one. One only.
Only option 1.
Yeah.
What are the possible products means 1 and 2.
Yeah. But they are asking about major product, so we have to give only one option.
Only major they are asking.
Yeah. Next is, which of the following characteristics are associated with a reaction in question 5? In the previous reaction, the reaction type is, this is a type of SN1 reaction. So the nucleophile attack from the backside.
No.
No. Uh, Trigonal planar intermediate will form.
SP2, okay.
Yeah, correct. Concerted mechanism it is with no intermediate. No intermediates are forming.
It's there.
Inversion of configuration. No, this is not from backside attack, so inversion will not take place.
SP
And
mixture may be formed.
yeah, enantiomers and diastereomers will form. How it will form? That after the formation of this first carbocation, when methyl shift will takes place, then methyl shift can takes place from the above the plane or from the below the plane. Then your water here can attack from above and below, so it leads to the formation of two product. And in this case also, two products will form. So these two are diastereomers of each other. These two are diastereomers of each other. But these two pairs are enantiomers with respect to each other. These are enantiomers. So we can say that pair of enantiomers as well as pair of diastereomers will form. Clear?
Yes, madam.
Yeah. So correct option is option second and fifth.
2 and 5.
Yeah. Next is, the major product of the following reaction is R. We are using a strong base. So which reaction will takes place?
Strong
Elimination,
base elimination.
but
Hmm.
E2.
E2 elimination.
Yeah.
Because it is a strong base.
Huh.
If it is a weak base, SN2.
Yeah. So it is a strong base So E2 elimination will takes place, and in the case of E2 elimination, what product we will get as major? E alkene. Okay, how this will happen? That if we are drawing our H and Cl at the anti-periplanar to each other, then so this will form. And after elimination, we will get this. So here it is 1, this is 2, here it is 1, and this is 2. So this is E alkene. So E alkene will form as the major product by doing E2 elimination. Next is, what is the right structure of the product of the reaction below? You have sodium methoxide. So which reaction will take place, E1 or E2?
E2 elimination.
E2 elimination. But because this is a cyclic system, so that inversion will not take place. And here your H and Cl are at the same side. So from this side, elimination will not take place. But we have one more hydrogen that can be anti to this chloride at this position. So this sodium methoxide will abstract this proton, and it leads to the formation of this second product as the major product, but not first. Is this clear?
Can you repeat once again?
Yeah. I'm telling that this is the cyclic structure. After inversion also, this H and Cl will be cis to each other. They will not come anti-periplanar in any condition. This one and this one. But one more hydrogen is there that can be anti to chloride, that is adjacent to this carbon. So elimination will take place from the less hindered side and not from this hydrogen that is cis to each other, because in E2 elimination, anti-periplanar arrangement is necessary. Got this?
Methyl group is there. Is there any effect? Is there? That's a
Methyl,
the product.
this stereochemistry is fixed, that this hydrogen and chlorine will not go like trans to each other in even in the inversion ring inversion step also. Like if we will draw it in the chair form, here this methyl is below, hydrogen is above, chlorine is above, hydrogen this hydrogen is below. Even if we draw its ring inversion structure, what we will get, that hydrogen will go down, methyl will go up, chlorine will come down, hydrogen will go up. At this, in this condition also, your hydrogen and chlorine are not anti-periplanar to each other. So from this side, elimination will not take place at any condition. Got my point? So elimination is possible only from the other side. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is the major product. Second one. Next question is, compound A reacts in an even reaction with a weak base. What is most likely structure of A? So if even reaction is taking place, so first step is
Proton abstraction.
formation of carbocation. Okay. Fluoride is a good living group? Yes or no?
No, ma'am.
No. So this will not participate in the even elimination. So this is not the correct option. Then second one, chloride, chloride. This is a better living group than fluorine. So if it will go, it leads to the formation of this carbocation. and this leads to the formation of
tertiary carbocation.
tertiary carbocation. Then even a reaction is taking place, that means major product is transalkene or cisalkene or e-alkene.
Transalkene.
Trans or e-alkene. So in this case e-alkene is this one, and in this case also it is this one. Okay, so both can form, so second and third is the correct option. Clear?
Okay.
Next is identify a polar aprotic solvent from the following: acetone, acetic acid, hexane, ethanol.
Ethanol.
Polar aprotic, not protic. Protic means that can give proton. Aprotic means that is polar in nature but is not able to give H positive.
Hexanes.
Hexanes are non-polar. They will not contain any electronegative group. So they are non-polar. The correct option is acetone. Because in case of acetone, because of the electronegativity difference between the oxygen and the carbon, the bond is polar. So molecule is polar, but they cannot give H positive in the solution. So they are polar aprotic solvent. Whereas acetic acid can give H positive, ethanol can give H positive. So these are polar protic solvent.
Hexane, how it is possible?
Hexane does not have any electronegative atom attached to it. So there is no polarity in the system.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is non-polar solvent.
Actually, it is only saturated, na, not
Yeah,
giving the,
saturated. Correct.
so not ready to willing the H plus.
Huh.
Okay.
Then rank the following in increasing order of the reaction to perform in SN1 reaction. So on the basis of living group, you have to decide rate of SN1 reaction, which is
Iodine
the
is a better living group.
iodide is the better living group. So fourth is most reactive. Then
Then bromine,
bromine,
then chlorine.
chlorine. So second, and
All.
last is
Yes, the last is chlorine.
fluorine. So the correct option is option third. Which of the following forms most stable carbocation when it undergoes even elimination? So, if they are undergoing even elimination, that means the first step is formation of carbocation.
Okay, then.
So, in which case carbocation is stable?
That is whatever the allylic position.
Allylic position. So, correct option is option second. In this case, this is sp2, sp2, sp2. Carbocation is not stable at sp2 position. Only this one is sp3 and allylic.
Allylic
Free
position.
and allylic. So this one is the most stable carbocation form, and the reaction will undergo, or this compound will undergo even reaction
Due to resonance.
due to resonance. Next is which of the following system, or which of the following describes SN2 reaction of alkyl halide. In case of SN2 reaction, your rate is bimolecular. That
Directly
means
proportional to the concentration along with the
nucleophile.
nucleophile. Second order.
Yeah, so correct. This is correct. Then the reaction proceeds via carbocation intermediate or via concerted mechanism.
Reaction proceeds via carbocation.
In case of SN2, only one step is there. So backside
So,
attack is possible.
so
In
no
no
carbocation.
carbocation. This reaction proceeds via
Concentrated mechanism. Okay.
concerted mechanism, and product will form through inversion of configuration, not
Inversion
retention.
product.
So this is also incorrect. So correct option is option 2 and option 5.
SN1 racemic mixture possible.
SN1 racemic mixture will form. Next is what is the major product of the following reaction?
NaOCH3 strong base,
strong base, so it will abstract proton. It E2 elimination will take
E2
place.
elimination.
Wherever anti-hydrogen is possible, that can be abstracted. So adjacent positions are this one and this one. Here hydrogen is anti, that is possible. Here hydrogen is anti or same side.
So the methyl hydrogen is positive, leaving group.
In E2 elimination, anti-periplanar arrangement is needed. In one step only it will go. Carbocation will not generate.
Option 2.
Option 2, correct. This base will abstract the proton and then bromide will leave. So correct option is option 2. Next is rate of which of the following reaction will double if the concentration of nucleophile is double. This is carbocation will form. So SN1 reaction. This one is also SN1 reaction. This is SN2 and this is SN2. Sorry, SN1. For SN1 reaction,
Rate is directly proportional
rate is directly proportional to the concentration of nucleophile as well as
along
alkyl halide. And we are only doubling the rate of reaction of nucleophile, concentration of nucleophile. SN2 reaction will not depends on the rate of nucleophile, so this is not the correct option. All other reactions are SN1 reactions, so that means on increasing the concent or doubling the concentration of nucleophile, your rate of reaction will double.
except the option 3 remaining.
Remaining are correct. Next is typically how many transition state and intermediate are formed in the energy profile diagram of a E2 mechanism. In E2 mechanism, your nucleophile will approach from the back side and transition state will look like this.
2 transition, 1 intermediate. So
In SN2 reaction we are talking. In SN2 reaction only one transition state is there, no intermediate is.
2 intermediates and 1 transition.
That is for SN1 reaction. SN2 reaction is one step product process. So only one transition state is formed and no intermediate.
But here he asking the E2.
Sorry, E2 mechanism. In case of E2 mechanism also anti-periplanar system is there. So in that case simultaneous removal of leaving group,
Directly simultaneously attacking nucleo formation
proton
of the
will abstract.
carbocation.
This is your halogen and this is your proton. So
Formation
base
of
will
carbocation.
abstract the proton and simultaneously leaving group will leave. So this is also a one step process, only transition state is there. So one transition state and no intermediate. Next is what is the major product formed in the following reaction?
Again NaOET strong base.
Strong base. So E2 elimination
E2,
will takes place.
E2 elimination. So that is the methyl adjacent
Br.
carbon.
This is H. And this is H and methyl and methyl. So after elimination, we will get methyl and H. So this is 1, 2, 3. Sorry, here it is methyl and here it is H.
Maybe trans methyl groups.
Yeah.
3 hexanes.
So 4, 5, and 6. So this is 2, 3 dimethyl one hexene. Because Ez we cannot decide, because in like at one side of the alkene two groups are same. If two groups are same, we will not decide Ez. That is the case when the two groups are different. Okay.
So
Is this clear?
the first option not possible, madam.
Ez is possible when the alkene that is formed have two groups different at the both sides. In this case, your at one side both groups are methyl, so we will not able to give priority to one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, so Ez we can't decide. Then next is dash undergoes dehydrohalogenation in the presence of strong base to give 2-pentene. In the first case, we have 2-chloropentene, pentane. So this is 2-chloropentane. Then in the second case, we have 1-chloro, 2-methyl butane. In the third case, we have 1-chloro, 3-methyl butane. Then 3-chloropentane, and last is 1-chloropentane. Now, if strong base is there, so it will undergo E2 elimination, and strong base will try to abstract proton from the less hindered side. So in this
So
case,
first option.
it will form one chloroalkene, not two. Sorry, one pentane, not two pentane. From the less hindered side, it will abstract the proton. In this case, only possibility is this proton. So this will form one pentene. This will form this. In this case, this is the product. Here, this is symmetrical, so
This
two
is only
pentene will
two.
form,
Okay.
and in this case
This is
also
not.
this.
So option last one is possible.
This one is the correct option. 3-chloropentane.
Okay.
Next is choose the correct option. Phenoxide ion, and this two anionic molecules are given. Which one is less basic? Which one is more nucleophilic philic in water? As we saw that this thiophenol has a pK of around 6, and phenol has a pK of around 10, and its anionic species is more stable. That means this is more acidic, so less basic, and this is less acidic, so its conjugate basis more basic. Sorry, your this phenoxide ion is more basic because sulfur is having less electronegativity than oxygen, so its tendency to give electrons is more. So your first is less basic but more nucleophilic than 2 in water. Based on the pKa we can decide, and the electronegativity of the atom that is attached. Next question is, which of the following statement regarding the SN1 mechanism is wrong? In case of SN1 mechanism, first step is the formation of carbocation,
Okay, then
and then in the second step, nucleophile will attack
that.
to form substituted product. This is slow step. So SN1 reaction are not favored by primary or methyl alkyl halides. Correct? Primary methyl alkyl halide will undergo SN2 reaction but not SN1.
SN1 tertiary.
SN1 tertiary. Then rate of reaction is proportional to the concentration of substrate only. This
No.
is wrong. Then SN1 reaction involves a single step.
Yes.
No, it will involve two steps.
Okay. Formation of carbocation,
is
then
the rate
attack of
determining step. This is correct. So the
two steps.
wrong are sorry. It depends on the concentration of substrate only. Nucleophile is attacking in the fast step. So the correct option is option third. Here rate is directly proportional to the concentration of substrate only, but not on the nucleophile.
Okay.
Then next is identify the polar aprotic solvent. We have diethyl ether, ethanol, then ammonia, benzene, and acetonitrile. Now let us decide which one is non-polar. Here, electronegative group is there in this case and in this case, in this case. So these all are polar.
Benzene non-polar.
Benzene non-polar. Now, which one can give proton? This can give proton from here.
Alcohol gives proton.
Alcohol can give, ammonia can give, but acetonitrile does not have that proton to give. So it is polar aprotic.
Polar aprotic.
Last question is, which of the following is least reactive compound by SN2 reaction mechanism?
So SN2 means
Primary and secondary can undergo SN2, but tertiary will not go. So this can undergo, this can undergo, this is tertiary, so it will
tertiary and
not.
this is also secondary.
Huh. So the correct option is option 3.
3 only.
Yeah. Clear?
Yes, yes. That is a correct question.
Yeah. Thank you. You can leave now.
Fine.